Namaste everyone, welcome to my channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about why do multiple reunions happen in the twin flame ascension journey. This can be applicable to anybody actually who is doing inner work, but they go through this. You could be a star seed, you could be a light worker, you can have all of these or one of these labels, it's up to you. But the problem still continues, and that is coming and going, coming and going. And this is also happening to people after they have crossed the surrender stage. I mean, they feel that they've been in a long-term separation, they've been in surrender, they've spent so many years in this ascension journey, waiting, doing inner work, but still they don't have what they wanted, what they were looking for. And if it comes, it doesn't come fully, it's coming in bits and pieces. So let's understand why this is happening. Number one thing is that there is a runner-chaser dynamic that happens before surrender, and there is a harmony phase which happens after surrender. What is the difference between these two? Difference is that till the time a person has not surrendered, they are in fear, they are in the deep insecurities of getting rejected or getting neglected. If it's a divine feminine, she will feel that there is going to be neglect in her relationship. She has been through the feeling of neglect, and it's a familiar feeling. So as soon as she starts feeling neglected even little bit, that fear becomes too big, and wherever there is vibration of fears, there will be demonic attacks, there will be negativity, there will be a whole bunch of problems that she has to face in her relationship, in other things also. What happens after surrender, what changes in separation is that instead of just focusing on the relationship, the divine feminine starts focusing on herself, on her own career, on job, on business, and she realizes that these problems are literally everywhere. The runner-chaser dynamic was happening not only in the relationship, but she is not getting straight away what she wants, even in other departments of life. Many of the people who resonate as divine masculine or divine feminine, they also experience something called Kundalini awakening, Kundalini rising, which is how you actually go through the awakening. You're in duality, actually you're even not even in duality, you're in the limbo state. One fine day a person enters into duality, and from duality they start rising up, and they can clearly see that there is definitely some issue with the way things are happening in their life. They can no longer function in the job that was very normal for them, jobs that they had worked hard to get, businesses that they had spent so much money, effort, investment. If it was not financial investment, then energetic investment, time investment, they put so much into it, but after awakening they don't feel connected with those things. They don't have the same ideologies, they don't have the same principles. So first it starts happening in the department of love, where they actually feel that they don't want the same typical type of love that everybody is satisfied with. Actually everybody is not satisfied with it, but they have to accept it. So people who get into the awakening can no longer accept anything if it is coming from the samsara. It is coming from the 3D, then it is not for them. That's how they feel. And this is something they don't have any control over. They cannot do anything about it. It's not like they can say, okay, I want to be a person who's okay with everything in the 3D. No. But when they want to be in the 5D or the 4D reality, they feel much more comfortable, they feel much more happy, and they feel that this is the place they want to be in. But the only way they can figure it out is by staying in separation and focusing on their own self. When people start focusing on their own self, on their own healing, because they've tried everything. Everybody is kind of stubborn also in this journey, because they straight away don't start healing themselves. They always first try to heal their masculine or their feminine, the other person. Trying to heal the other person actually makes things worse. And they notice that things become more and more difficult. There are karmic problems, there are some other tensions. There is a runner-chaser dynamic. After the crisis, evident crisis, they see that they are both arguing, fighting, they are unhappy. There is so much interference from other people. It becomes a toxic situation, very messy situation. And then comes a time where they cannot even make the person stay with them. It's not like the other person has not tried. They have also tried a lot, which is why there's a push and pull. They also run away, then they come back. They do it, they keep doing it over and over again. They are not happy, it's evident. You're not happy, it's evident. Finally, there is a phase which is like you can't do anything about it. You just have to let go, like the hanged man in tarot. But there is a certain understanding, there is a feeling of surrender. Before surrender, people try all sorts of things, especially law of attraction. This is the most common thing you will hear everywhere, and many coaches are actually teaching people. Lots of coaches are teaching people how to make vision boards. They will give you techniques, you do this, you do that. Years and years pass by, but these vision boards and the law of attraction doesn't work. And I have already shared a video on how law of attraction is demonic, because your vision boards and your affirmations are actually bringing in demons in your life. This is something that many people don't know. Only the wise ones will know. And you can see a lot of prophetic people talk about this, a lot of spiritual people talk about it, a lot of people who have the insight and the discernment, because they too tried it. And let me tell you, I was also one of those people. At one point in time, even I tried. I wanted to see if it really works or not, and I put all of my scientific mind into it, but it really doesn't work. Yes, you can be a positive person, yes, you can be a happy person, but that only happens after surrender. When you let go and you let divine take over, when you let source take over your situation, that's when you figure out that there is a beauty, there is a magic in this journey. And I think for some time, even law of attraction is okay. People should try it out, because only when they try everything out and they fail and they realize that nothing is really helping in the situation, no number of affirmations can help, no number of vision boards can help. When we are negative, all problems will attract to us. And some people also try to do it by themselves, like when the masculine will come back to them or the runner will come back to them, they will give them whatever they can just to make that person stay. But the one who wants to go, the one who wants to leave, will always find an excuse to leave. You know why? Because you're giving that person everything, but the core problem is not healing or changing. The core problem only changes when the person from within changes. Which is why I keep telling people, work on your chakras, meditate, go within. Chant the solar plexus mantra, the solar plexus sound. It is the most magical sound in this universe. And I don't care, I'm not here to please people, I'm going to speak the truth. I share channelings, I share downloads also about this journey. But I'm saying without inner work, without correct inner work, no one can grow in this journey. And this knowledge comes to people in surrender. So why do multiple reunions happen? Why not one reunion or one union and everything is okay? Because the ascension journey is a combination of linear and non-linear inner work, or stages or cycles. How it works is that it is doing churning, and whenever you do churning, the best stuff comes out and also the worst stuff comes out. Like there was Samudra Manthan that happened once between the Devtas and the Asur. Asur are basically the people from Tamasic, the demonic field, and Devtas are the divines, the givers. Asurs are the takers, they want everything materialistic, and divines are happy living in the divine realm. But they also both have some purpose on this planet. So when they do the magnificent, the biggest churning ever, lots of things come out from it. When the poison comes out, nobody wants the poison. But when the Amrit comes out, the life, the immortality nectar comes out, everybody wants it. Who takes the poison? Shiva. Out of all the people, all the deities, all the gods and goddesses, it is only Shiva who says, I will drink the poison. And that's why Shiva is Shiva. He is bliss. He is eternal bliss. So when we are working on the twin flame ascension journey, we are bringing Shiva and Shakti in balance. And whose name or what mantra does Shiva chant continuously is the solar plexus mantra. Hanuman is the most powerful god, right? But whose mantra is Hanuman chanting? The most powerful god. No demon, no negative energy can stand in front of Hanuman. But what does Hanuman chant daily? Daily, all the time, weekly, monthly. He is also immortal. The Ram sound, the Ram mantra. So solar plexus, why solar plexus? Why not other chakras? Other chakras are also doing their work. Other chakras are equally important. But solar plexus has the magical power of changing a person because it gives the real confidence, the godfidence to a person. 3D people also have confidence. Lots and lots of confidence. Why do the masculine and feminine have this push and pull? Feminine is constantly showing him spiritual confidence. Masculine is constantly showing material confidence. Both of them are having a clash. There's a clash of logic, there's a clash of emotion. But don't we need logic? Of course we need logic. His confidence is coming from his logical side. Her confidence is coming from her emotional side. Both are right, both are wrong in some ways. So balance is required and both of them are clashing with each other, and after one point it's like we can't clash anymore because it's not bringing in something. That inner churning has to happen, so they go away. That phase of separation is so important. It only will lead to the better things in life, the good things in life. The hermit stage, the surrender stage eventually leads to illumination and harmony. So the difference between runner chaser dynamic and the push and pull and harmony is not so vast, but yes, the fear is gone in harmony because the person has already lived in the worst situations. They've already gone through whatever they thought is worst and they realize that the worst is actually the best. They thought that, oh my God, what's going to happen to me if I'm all by myself? But when they live in the hermit mode, they enjoy so much that they actually have to be taken out of it. Many people, they don't want to leave the hermit phase. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. This is what Shiva did. Once Sati left him, he was in hermit mode for so long. Then Parvati had to be reborn. Gods and goddesses were worried, like this man is enjoying hermit stage. He's just alone and he doesn't want to get out of it. It happens to a lot of people. They are so happy in their blissful state. They don't want the union only at that point in time. They say, we don't want the union. We don't want anything. We are happy. But then, of course, illumination, harmony, next stages are going to come. So when they are connecting with this energy, where they're also thinking that I was so happy by myself. I am so happy by myself. Why do I even need to get into this 3D drama or 3D nonsense, or why do I even need someone else in my life? So that someone else doesn't come in your life with your own wish and will this time. It has to happen via God, via source, via divine intervention. That's why harmony phase requires people to do this push and pull without any fear, because you have to try it out. For some people who don't want to end up with the toxic partner, the narcissistic partner, people who have been in the false twin journey. False twin journey is not saying that it's not twin flame ascension journey. False twin is equally a part of your twin flame ascension journey. So they could have spent 5 years, 6 years, 7 years with false twin thinking that this is the person for me. But definitely it's not, and they realize it only when they go away from that person. So they are definitely not going to go back to that person, even if they are in cordial terms with that person. Even if later on forgiveness happens and they realize that this is just not for me because this is a false twin, it was my assumption that this is the real person. So then they might meet a new person. An absolutely fresh new walk-in can also be sent to them in their life. Everybody has different situations. Some people date narcissistic person for a long time. They have children with the narcissistic person, but there is so much havoc in their life. Eventually they stop working on the narcissist. They don't want to change the narcissist. They start working on themselves. They start changing themselves, and they meet soulmates, and the narcissist is also around. As I keep saying, there are no fixed rules and regulations in the twin flame ascension journey. People who are going to be tied up with these rules and regulations again will have a long phase of difficulty. Some people got really upset with me also, and today I want to talk about it. They got very triggered when I said certain things which are actually real things. You go to any other channel, they're not going to give you these detailed information, these type of detailed things. They cannot, because they have not passed that test of time yet. And I am not saying that, oh, I am the best and I am the only one. No, there are others like me also. That's why I said there are so many people who are telling you that don't get into law of attraction, or now that you figured it out, get out of it. It's attracting demons in your life. It's attracting negative energy in your life, because demons ride on to desires. And what is law of attraction teaching you? Go crazy for your desires. Focus on your desires. And what type of desires? Only 3D desires. If you try to use law of attraction to help another person, it might do wonders for you. If you try to use law of attraction to focus on God, to focus on source, it might do wonders on you, because the whole explanation of law of attraction is incorrect. Law of attraction, who came up with these laws? Who came up with these number of laws? Who was the first person who said that there are these laws? I'm going to finish the part 2. The part 2 still remains, so I'm not going to give out that one over here. But I'm going to say that people get triggered because they are not getting out of the certain set permutations and combinations that someone else has created for them. Now for them, the journey might have happened like that, because there are people, healers, who probably got married to each other in old age. Some of the people who became twin flame guides and healers, they did so after they had lived their life with someone else, had children are grown up, now they are grandparents. Finally they've realized that, okay, all of the 3D relationships were not really for me, and I would be happy with this type of a relationship. When they enter that relationship, again they are not happy. They have to go through separation phase even in the spiritual setup. The way Sanatan talks about twin flame ascension is very interesting, because you have Radha Krishna, you have Ram Sita, you have Shiva Shakti, and all three of them have different type of journey. It's not a set thing, it's not written in stone that everybody has to be in the same kind of mold to be a twin flame. Whether you like it or you leave it, I will speak the truth. Because I have worked with so many people, it's my experience, it's my personal journey that I've been into, it's my experience working with number of people all over the planet, all over the globe. No twin flame journey, no two journeys can be same. This is the magic of twin flame journey. This is the interesting part about twin flame journey. So somebody can have a platonic relationship with their twin flame, but yet experience the ascension. Somebody can have a romantic connection with their twin flame and yet experience ascension. Somebody can be married, yet experience ascension. Somebody can be single. They've never gotten married, yet they will have the twin flame ascension experience. Because the journey is trying to teach you how to love yourself and how to experience true love. This churning is giving you poison as well as the gift of immortality, the nectar of immortality. Why? Because you have to see both. You have to understand duality fully. You have to understand yin, you have to understand yang, and then you figure out that both yin and yang, both Ida and Pingla, both Anima and Imus are inside of you. Where are you looking outside? Why are you looking outside for love? There is no love in the external reality. It's inside of you, within you. And when you find it inside of you, that union, when that union happens, then all of these reunions stop happening. So if we have the divine masculine and feminine connection, that is also true. The romantic one is true. The platonic one is true. The friendship one is true. The soulmates are true. The false twin experience is true. The karmic experience is true. For so many people, they assume when their partner or the one they wanted, they assume that this person is my twin flame, whosoever it is. They give the label to twin flame basically. When that person gets married to the karmic, obviously the other person, the one who's left behind, is going to wish that the karmic is going to leave my person in 6 months or maximum 1 year or 2 years. But that doesn't happen. Because the karmic journey is equally important. If the other person is not going to have the karmic experience, proper full-blown karmic experience, they'll never figure out what they feel for you. And on the other side, after the separation has happened, after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years have happened, then the person on the other side will have their own karmic experiences, and some of them who are intelligent will have even before, because they'll detach from that other person. If somebody is not there for me, if somebody is not with me in the physical, in reality they are not with me, then I need to wake up and I need to do my own inner work. I need to heal my own self instead of sending healing to that other person. Whether you're with that person and you're healing that person, whether you're not with that person and you're healing the person, healing does not work if you're not healing your own self first. If it is the bitter truth, then so be it. But it will always remain the truth. You guys can hate me for saying all of this. You guys can unsubscribe me for saying all of this. You guys can write long negative messages to me. Hey, what are you saying? Why are you making us all confused? What's wrong with you? Why are you giving these things? Why are you spreading this knowledge? Why shouldn't I? You want me to speak the lies? You want me to be fake? You want me to make content which is only focused on views, subscribers and likes? Just because 2 people don't like my content or 5 people hate my content, am I going to stop speaking the truth about this journey? Of course not. So I've always maintained that you guys are going to meet all these types of people. You need to have soulmates in your life. Come on, how will you do your mission? You cannot depend on your partner for everything. You cannot depend on your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. They can be completely different, because I know people in real life who are in mission, and I know they are married too, and I know that they are not married to someone who has any attraction or affection or liking towards their mission. They are living their own life. So they have a separate life with their partner and they have a separate life with soulmates. And it's not all messed up as they show in movies. The celebrities, the false idols, the very reason why everybody is stuck in lust. People are stuck in lust. People have no idea about love because they are following the false idols, the fake celebrities who are teaching you what love is, but they are not practicing love. They themselves don't know anything about love. They are just acting. They are just playing a part. And in real life also we have so many actors. Haven't you seen real life actors? Of course there are so many. So my dear friends, reunion is happening over and over again because a person needs to look within for love. And we have to harmonize with people, and I'll tell you why it's important. Maybe you have grown in your journey. This is also an important test. You have grown in your journey. You understand love. Now you know what love is. Now you know what addictions are. You've gone into addictions and stepped out of addictions. You have healed your wounds. So you have discernment. You have a superpower now. And with great powers comes responsibilities. It's a responsibility to accept other people at whatever stage they are in, whatever cycle they are going through, whatever stage they are going through. So maybe your person is still in addictions. Your person is still stuck with 3D patterns. Your person might love you. They come back to you. They tell you, oh, I love you so much. I made a mistake. I left you and I went somewhere. Okay, it was a narcissist or whatever it was. I'm not going to get into that because that's a separate story. And please, if you guys want to get clarity, then get into personal therapy sessions or work on yourself only on your individual experience. These are examples. I am giving you examples. These are examples like lots of people are having. In the core, we are same. Love is the same. The feeling called love is same for everyone, no matter who it is. We have to accept the narcissist around us, and most people cannot figure it out till the time they don't heal themselves and they don't learn the truth that actually it is coming from their own DNA. Because they have narcissistic parents, they live in a narcissistic society, they go to a narcissistic school, they get narcissistic education, and after all of that, if you are an empath, you end up attracting a narcissistic partner. It's not a shock or a surprise. It is going to happen because your whole life, you've lived your whole life pleasing the narcissistic setup. The narcissistic society has taught you to be a people pleaser, has taught you to do things that don't make sense, has taught you to never question, has taught you to remain asleep. But what is nature doing? What God is doing, they cannot do that. What Source is doing, they cannot do that. They cannot stop a person from awakening. Because when you awaken, when the super soul inside you awakens, then none of these programming patterns and templates are going to stick on to you forever. You are going to get out of it sooner or later. But as you get out of it and you realize that you were also asleep, you were also in the limbo state for such a long time, doing all the 3D things, that today, even if someone's going to pay you huge amount of money, you will not do it. You were doing things because you were programmed. You were doing things because they taught you to do it. You had no control over it. You did not know what you were doing. It's a program, how a computer runs on programs. Similarly, you were running on a program. But Source is the biggest. There is no doubt in that. What Source can do, the power of God, nobody can do it. When Source steps in, all these programs just crash. Then the computer is going to get reinstalled. The computer cannot work on the 3D operating system. It has to work on divine operating system. And once the divine operating system starts working through you, you will be given new programs, new DNA codes, new ascension codes. That's when you get the discernment. If I can be asleep, if I can be in a limbo and I can do all these things, I can live a 3D life for such a long time, not realize why others can't go through it. If my masters were so patient with me, if Source was so patient with me, because of course if you're in the ascension journey, you will meet some people, they will have an impact on you. If they are being so patient with me, they are so forgiving, they are so kind, I also have to give it. Because that divine giver energy, Dev means giver, that Dev energy also gets activated in you. So when you see the narcissists are suffering, when we change, I keep saying, when we change, the narcissist will change. Because the narcissist will see that we are so happy without them. We are detached, we are happy, we are not going after them. People who cannot detach from the narcissistic world, they cannot detach from the narcissistic partner. I mean, you are lucky that you actually go through separation, because those who cannot, they cannot even survive in this world. It's very difficult for them. And there are so many stories like these. I will share those stories also. You can subscribe to my channel, Narration by Suna. I will share these stories where 3D reality is so strong on a person that they make decisions and they do things that they would not do in their right space of mind. There are repercussions. So God is actually saving you. This rejection is actually for your protection. This separation is for your protection. This neglect is for your protection. Because when you go away, you're in that protective bubble. They go away, okay? The others also go away. The karmics and their story and that story, the heartbreaks, all of that happens. But then it's protecting you so that you can do your inner work, so that nobody disturbs you or distracts you. That's when you realize that I was trying to heal the masculine or the feminine or that person who I love, but actually I need to do a lot of healing around me. There are lots and lots of wounded people around me. All these narcissists are wounded. They're in pain. All these toxic people are in pain. But I cannot absorb their pain. This is also discernment telling you. If you look at the whole setup, then you only are there to observe them, not absorb their energy. People who absorb energy of others out of attachment, out of love or whatever, sympathy, empathy, they go through a lot of trouble. When we absorb other people's negativity, we become like them. Which is why when the narcissist people, parents, then they program their children, the children are so much in pain, but they have to live the same life. They have to listen to their narcissistic parents or teachers or grandparents or society they live in. Even your location matters, because the society you live in, you're trying to please them. So why do we talk about Shiva? Why do we talk about Shakti? Because Shiva is absolutely detached. When Shiva was married to Sati, Sati's father was a hardcore, cold-blooded narcissist. He could not handle his daughter marrying Shiva, who is totally detached from 3D reality, from 3D world. And he was so upset. He tried to malign Shiva's image. He literally ran a smear campaign against Shiva. Talked about his looks, talked about his clothes, talked about his lifestyle, everything. And Shiva has a pure, natural, organic life. Shiva lives in the wild. He's a wild creature. A wild creature living as a hermit. So of course he's in meditation, he's in deep meditation. And I keep telling people, work on your solar plexus. Why? Because I have been experiencing these shifts in my life ever since I started doing it more and more. You have to literally have so much faith in it. You have to have so much gratitude in it. Lord Hanuman, Lord Shiva, all the great masters, they talk about solar plexus activation, healing. Why? Because it gives you the right kind of confidence that you need to exist on this planet. You cannot say, oh, I'm not going to live here, I'm not going to live in the samsara. Of course you have to exist in the samsara, you have to live with all these narcissistic people, all the distorted masculines and feminines, but you got to observe them, not absorb their energy. Because when you start observing them, you can see their templates, you can see their patterns, and you can see the loops they are stuck in. And before you see their loops and patterns and templates, you got to see it in your own self also. When you break your own loops, then only you can inspire other people to break their loops. And they will only do that when they see that you're chilled out and you're happy and you're detached and you're independent. Why do masculines come back to feminines? Or why do runners, if not the gender thing, I'll not talk about gender here, why do runners come back to chasers? And why chasers accept the runners? Because runners can see once the chaser is no longer a chaser. Out of so many runner-chaser dynamics, so many people going through it, there are definitely few people who are monads. There are few people who eventually reach union because they are intelligent enough to say that I'm not going to heal anybody else, I will work on myself first. I will work on my career, I will work on my body, I will work on my health, I will work on my mind, I will work on me first. If all these narcissists can be so selfish, they can keep doing me first, me first, me first. That too for the 3D nonsense, I will do me first for the higher divine energy. Let me work on my divine energy, let me heal myself, and then I will think about all these others. I will get my answers first. And when you get your answers, when you have solved these puzzles, then you become a person who they will contact on their own. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to post any pictures or selfies, or you don't have to even be on social media. Somebody who has to connect with you will connect with you. They don't need social media for that. They will find a way to reach you. And this happens. They will find a way to reach you. And it doesn't happen in one day. They come back to you, they say sorry, and tomorrow you're holding hands and singing songs and dancing in a club or in a, park. It is a gradual process because they are going to shed their skin too. And they're looking at you, they've seen you shed your skin, they've seen you become this super intelligent being, a wise person. They will then rely on you. They will not rely on you that easily. If they see like how it used to happen in runner-chaser dynamic. In runner-chaser dynamic also, because in between the chaser would get the divine sense and they would just work on themselves and become fine and be happy, and the runner would come back. Again chaser would start doing the same things, start depending on the runner so much because the healing has not happened. Once they are in surrender stage, they work on themselves, the illumination, and healing never stops. Let me tell you, ascension is a lifestyle, ascension is a process, and it has got nothing to do with physical union. The reason why people keep going through so many reunions is because they have actually made up their mind, they have seen other people, they've read somebody, they've watched some videos, some online content where someone is telling them that if you have the 3D union, there you go, you have it. Which is why I keep talking about my experiences, not only with my own self, but also working with so many married and single twin flames. And I can see instantly who is gravitating towards union, because all the people who are gravitating towards union are going to work on themselves, and they will forgive the narcissist, but they also know that this narcissism is not coming from their partners actually, or these partners, the narcissistic partners, one by one they keep vanishing from their life. They keep vanishing and changing or shifting or whatever. Different people have different experiences, because they are now forgiving their narcissistic mother or narcissistic father. The narcissistic mother is the first guru, the first teacher of the child. Any child, any empathetic child will have huge attachment with the mother. Mother is everything for the baby. Father also is, but first is the mother. The first bond, the first connection they have is with the mother. That's why the mother also passes on lots of curses and gifts via the womb. From one generation to another, the DNA is being passed on via the womb, via the reproductive birth process, the biological birth process. And in future, if people don't have the biological reproduction process, they will have some other advanced scientific processes, but still the child will need the mother. The mother has that energy. It is the nurturing energy. That's why it is such an important energy. So you need to heal your relationship with your mother. Whether she's a narcissistic mother, whether she's a distorted feminine, or whether she's extremely loving, whatever it is. And why do we even have to say these things? Because in today's world, it's not really the mother's fault or the father's fault also. We are not here to blame them. They're also a victim, a creation, a product of this distorted system. It is the system that is rigged. This distortion is coming via the society that is so flawed. At one point in time, the narcissistic mother and father were also babies. They were also children. They also wanted a happy life. You are lucky to be in ascension. They may not have been so lucky. But you can help them, because when we heal ourselves, we also heal all the others, which is why all the ancestors are looking at you. All the spirit guides are looking at you, because you are the one who is on the path of ascension. So for therapies and for personal sessions, you can check out the description box. You can get my book, In the Name of Love, A Journey of Finding Your Ultimate Soulmate. The book is available only on Amazon Kindle, and it's the latest edited version that you can get over there. So guys, I will see you in the next one. One love, peace out, and victory to Ram.